Okay, so just before we begin, I'm just going to give a little bit of an overview today about Taurus and what's coming in the next cycle, and step you through the process that is going to be relevant for you each month. So hopefully this will become a monthly call where we can actually get together and do this cycle planning on the day, or it happens to be Friday, which is the turn of the cycle, which is handy, but it won't always be on the turn of the cycle. Sometimes I'll do my cycle planning the week before we change into a new cycle. So just towards the end of the cycle, you want to start to be reviewing what's happened in the previous cycle and what's your intention is, what's coming up for you in the following cycle. So this will be hands-on, so we want to make sure that you're actually planning on the call for Taurus, and if you have any questions you can obviously ask live, and it's much easier if we are all doing this together. Hey Leonie, welcome. Hang on, you're on mute.
I had to kind of jump back in. Oh,
no worries. You're here now, all good.
Yes.
Welcome.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so you've got your thing?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to review why we're doing this kind of natural cycle planning each month. Now, by now you probably know that the turn of the cycle, in terms of when the sun moves into a different sign of the zodiac, in the sky, we change cycles, and it's around the 21st of each month. Now, when it comes to business, why this is important, why we do business this way, is so that each month has a theme. And you can see in this diagram here, the themes are based on the 4 elements: fire, air, earth, and water. Now, throughout the whole year, the 12 months that we go through, there's always a million things that we could be doing in our business, but we need to know what to focus on and when. So doing the monthly cycle planning gives us a focus each month. So we're not trying to do too much, and we're not missing out on any particular business function. Now you can see in this diagram, there are 12 functions. Some of them are marketing related, some are planning, some finance, some creativity, some relationships, networking. All of these come together to balance out your business approach, particularly around your business planning, which defines what actions you take. So this is a holistic approach. We're not going to miss anything out here if we follow the monthly cycles as they show us each theme each month. So last month, or before we go into last month actually, I just wanted to touch on why we're doing this in terms of natural timing as well, because natural timing really comes down to 3 things: ripe timing, knowing what actions to take and when, and allowing whatever you're creating to ripen over time. So you're not leaving it too long when the fruit's gone rotten, and you're not taking action too soon before it's ripe. Sustainable growth, which means that the actions we take are not killing us, they're not making us unhealthy, we're not forcing growth. We're actually taking one step at a time and embedding the changes as we go. That's really what defines sustainable growth. That means that in 10, 20 years, we're in good shape personally, and our business is also in good shape because we've grown in natural time. Not head time, not energy time, but earth time. And then natural rhythm. So this is just the ebb and flow of life, that we cannot guarantee results. We cannot stay consistent forever because life comes in waves. So this is the cyclical approach to business. And as a tip, and each month I'm actually going to give a tip on how to tap into natural timing, which is all about you finding your rhythm. So we don't want to use the cycles to get too heady about, I have to take this action then, and it's a full moon, so this means that, and we're in this theme, and da-da-da-da-da. This is about you growing incrementally into the cycles in a way that feels true for you, so that you get a sense of your natural rhythm. So you know when you're leaving things too long, And you also know when you might be jumping the gun too soon. So finding your ripe time. So my tip for this month is offline time. Now, offline time means having time off the internet, which means we don't have to be plugged in every single day of the week from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. Offline time for me looks like 3 days a week off the internet. It's easy for me because I go out bush 3 days a week, and then I go into town 4 days a week where I connect to the internet. So when I'm out bush, I'm forced to get off the internet. Sometimes I might do a little bit of creative work or offline work, but I'm not doing anything online. And the purpose of this is for you to tune inwards. Again, to figure out, to feel your natural timing. So when we've got all this stuff bombarding us all the time through the internet, constant information and distraction, we're actually pulled out of ourselves and we're pulled into our minds.
Yeah.
So this is really key. And I encourage you to have 1 day a week where you don't turn on the internet. You don't interact online at all on your phone or on your computer. So I know this is a big stretch for some people, and certainly when I was in the city recently, it was a stretch for me as well to actually carve out the time to get offline each week. But the rewards are really worth it. So each month we're going to be layering some tips to help you to feel your own sense of natural timing. Okay, so without further ado, let's kick off step 1, which is review the last cycle, which is Aries. And that means getting out your Aries planner and ticking off all the actions you completed. Now, if there are any actions you didn't complete, you can just put an arrow. I've just put an arrow next to these saying, next month, carry over. Or sometimes I've half completed an action and I'll just put tick and an arrow.
Yeah.
So that gives me a clear sense of what I'm leaving in that cycle and what I'm carrying on. Now, in terms of your cycle intention, you want to reread that and just get a sense of, okay, was that completed? Is that finished? Is it done? Now, often what I've found is it's not completely done, and there is some sort of thread of that intention that carries through to the next cycle.
Yeah.
So this is for you to get a sense of what has been fulfilled and what's coming next.
Could I ask if you could just give us an example of yours?
Sure. So an example is, so my cycle intention was to provide contextual education for 3 projects that I have on the go at the moment.
Right.
Now, that has been completed, but it's not over.
Yeah.
So there's certain actions there that I can tick off, which were done, but this theme needs to carry through to the next cycle for me.
Yeah.
And so I'll share what my next cycle theme intention is in a moment as well. But the reason is that the intention is fairly general sometimes. It's not something you just tick off, it's done. It's actually probably going to carry through cycle to cycle. It's like passing a baton one cycle to the next, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Does that help, Leonie?
Yeah, I think it does, because that was probably the fear. It's like trying to think about what is that intention for the energy of that month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And this can be a little bit tricky. And this is my 4th year of using the planner by the cycles. And it's taken me a long time to be able to really tune in and bypass my brain with the intention. Because last time on the call I mentioned that the intention is something you feel.
Yeah.
It's your sense it's a sensory thing of what the direction is. The actions, all from the head. It's all good. You can translate that intention into the actions.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just sometimes you may just need to sit with the intention, and I'll give you a moment to do that for Taurus in a moment. But for now, let's get clear on what we're putting to bed in Aries and what's carrying on.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions about the Aries month or this process at all? Happy to answer anything? No? Okay. Moving on. That's really as simple as it is. You can celebrate the things you have achieved, because sometimes the actions that you've taken are really significant and warrant a celebration. So make sure you allow time to do that.
I actually do have something I want to mention.
Yes.
If we've got, for example, I have 4 actions in line. Only one of them has, 3 have been ticked. One's only completely ticked, which means there are 3 to, go over into the next month. By the time we add the new month's actions, we're not going to have enough room. Obviously, the theme goes along. It's like if we keep having things being hung over from the time before. Okay, all right. I was going to say we need more space, or we just need to complete more action.
Oh, you're funny, Jody. But it is a really good question, actually, and I think we'll address that in the next section, because this does happen. So the short answer is each month is a distillation process, which means we're not just piling up the heap each month of all the things we didn't do. We're actually we don't need more of that. What we're doing is we're distilling and refining each month the actions we've taken and what are the priorities for the next month. Now, some of these actions that you put down for this month, if you didn't complete them, they may drop off altogether, because you might find in the next cycle, when you set your intention, that it's no longer relevant at this stage. Or it may pop up later in the year. So this doesn't have to be 100% comprehensive. If you leave one off, you're doing the wrong thing. It's not like that, because this is where the flow comes in. We're really tuning into what are the priorities for you to take action on now, and making sure they're consistent with the theme. Okay, so yes, hopefully we'll clarify. Yes. Hey, Jill.
I found in April that I was super excited, and way too many things on my list.
Yep.
That I could actually achieve. So for me, because the energy was really super high after March, I went, oh yes, I can do so many things with all this energy.
Yep.
And I looked at my list and I went, oh, Jesus, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. I know. And if you really love Aries, then that often happens.
And then add retrograde in there at the last bit, and there was nothing going to happen after that. So
yeah, right. Well, there you go. You have an excuse, Jill.
No, it's not an excuse. It was just like, you're insane, woman.
You're insane. Yeah. Doing a bit of a review of how realistic those actions were.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. So, and full disclaimer here, to make you feel better, very rarely each month will I complete all my 6 actions. Because sometimes they're at what I intend at the start of the month. Life changes, things come and go. So sometimes I'll end up doing new actions that I didn't intend on earlier in the month. So you can modify it as you go, that's fine, or not. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is you're following a consistent thread and tracking it throughout the year. Because this is what so many business owners fail to do, is they don't track their progress. And so they end up somewhere where they're like, how did I get here? And what happened to that project or that thing that I was doing? Or, you know, all these loose ends. So follow the thread and you'll be fine.
Mm.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
So,
Oh.
sorry, Natalie.
Yes.
I suppose I know I'm trying to get my head around it. I realise that.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, so I'm looking at the Taurus and the energy of this. Therefore, the focus of the intention would be around using the energy of the Taurus. So around resources, around planning and grounding and setting. That's the kind of intention I want to be able to set, is to utilize something that pulls everything into making it more solid.
That's exactly what I was going to explain next. Yes.
Sorry. Okay. I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. I'll be quiet.
That's all good. That's what the mind likes to do. What's next?
She's already in the flow.
No worries. Yes. So that's exactly right. Coming into Taurus, moving from Aries to Taurus. Aries was about initiation, so starting things. Taurus is about bedding them down. So you can see even the imagery here is, this is the earth. This is to us attune you to the element of earth for Taurus. So it's really putting roots down so those things that you initiated can actually take root and feel some sense of stability. So that's why the focus is on resources. What do I need in order for these projects or things that I've started to bed down? And so the three main areas that you want to be focusing on, or that I've really highlighted around Taurus, are gathering resources. So this is about, what are you actually going to invest in? What people, tools, information do you need in order for these things that you've initiated to take root, to have some stability and some foundation? So this is where you want to actually start questioning, okay, longer term throughout the year, how are these projects actually going to be supported? What do they need to be supported throughout the full 12 cycles? Because this is the first Earth theme, and this is where you're just gathering the nuts and bolts, the bits and pieces that you need for your project to be a success. So it's the first Earth theme. The consecutive Earth themes throughout the year are going to build upon this foundation. So Virgo and Capricorn both do that. The second thing is writing your plan. So you may remember from if you're on the last call, we looked at your 12 cycle plan where you had your full year intention and your 6 milestones, 6 or to 8 milestones. This is a month where you want to really bed this down as well. So we wrote this plan in Pisces/Aries, where the energy was still pretty high and high in the sky, if you like. But now we want to get real, and we want to make sure that whatever we've written in that 12 cycle plan is realistic and solid. So let me just go to that slide. Does everyone remember this, what that actually is? This is the 12 cycle plan, your 12 cycle intention, and this is an example of my 12 cycle intention. So this is the theme, the thread that's going to carry through my full year. And also the milestones, the major things that I'm ticking off throughout the year that are actually going to help me fulfill that intention. So if I miss any of these milestones, then it's actually, I'm going to either be behind in achieving that intention, or I'm going to be off track. So you want to review what you wrote in your 12 cycle plan. And we do this every Earth sign. We'll do it again in Virgo. We do a reality check in Virgo, and we do it again in Capricorn. The Earth sign's about getting real. So, of course, this is something that you can tweak throughout the year. It's not permanent unless you've written it in permanent marker. You can refine this. Some milestones might drop off. A couple of my milestones dropped off last year and got replaced with different ones. That's cool because we review it each earth sign. Does anyone have any questions about the 12 cycle plan?
Only that I don't have anything written on it.
Jody? Okay. If you don't have anything...
I was doing really well to actually have one for the month, for the
You
for the
are.
month. I thought I was doing well to get that far and tick things off.
Good. So Taurus can help you because you can let your 12 cycle plan emerge this month. Let it emerge in Taurus because now it's on your radar. In Aries, we're too busy getting stuff started and, just kicking off for the year. But now you can start to reflect on this 12 cycle plan. You've got the time and the theme to do it. If you do have any questions, though, we can talk privately about that, if anything is holding you up. So yeah, if you haven't written one at all, do it this month. Put it on your actions.
I like yours. Can I just steal that?
Sure. No worries. As long as you feel it too, go for it. Well, just find your words. It might mean exactly the same thing as long as the words resonate for you and you can feel it.
Yeah.
It's not copyrighted, so yes, you can steal it.
My milestones will be different.
Okay. Cool. All right, where were we? Yes. So that's what write your plan means. Now, you can get more detailed and write a full-on business plan if you want to, if you feel inclined, if you're launching something that requires external or capital investment. If not, I'm giving you the bare minimum. You can get by and be successful with this tiny little bit of planning each month and having your overall 12 cycle plan. Okay, next, review your value proposition. Who knows what a value proposition is?
Nope.
No. Any nods at all? No nods. Okay. Does anyone know what value means?
What matters to you?
Yes, what matters to you? Cool. Jillian, you're nodding. What's your definition of value?
I need to put my sound on.
No, you're on. I unmuted you. You're all good.
Okay. Something that I actually will work from. So they're my aspects that I work from, what I value most, and it will be different for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it any other way.
Okay. Radio. It's tricky.
Jody?
I had another, I was putting that in reverse as in what is the value that your clients are going to be getting out of what's their perceived value or what they're receiving within your work?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Your value proposition is essentially why people will buy from you. Why they're ever going to value what you're offering. Because if you want someone to pay money, that has a value. People have earned that money. So you need to clearly convey what the value is and why it's worth them putting their money down on the table. And as Jody says, it is about proposing the value proposition. You are proposing it to someone. You're not giving an offer and then expecting them to figure out the value. You have to propose that value. So if that's the case, what's one of the things you need to know in order to have a value proposition, to know your value proposition and communicate it? Anyone? You're all writing madly.
Yes, we are. Sorry.
Yes?
Go, Jill.
I survey my groups and ask them what they want from me.
Bingo. you need to know what your tribe, your audience, your customers, what they value. Therefore, you need to know their value system. What are their top values? Because if you're offering something that has values of freedom and joy and hope, and your audience values security, support, and certainty, what is going to happen?
They're not going to buy. They're not going to do anything with you.
Yep, it'll just sail right by. So, you need to know your own values. And of course, that's what you're going to convey in your offerings. You're just being who you are. You're just giving something that you would want to buy. But then, of course, you've got to convey that to the right people and make sure that the people you're marketing to are sharing the same value system as you or similar. So we're not going to get into the marketing side because that comes down in the air signs with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So for now, it's about feeling the value of your offering and how you concisely convey that to people. Now, by concise, I mean one sentence. One sentence that conveys why someone should buy what you're offering. Not 10 paragraphs, not 10 dot points, not 2 words. One sentence that says it all.
How long is that sentence?
I'm glad you asked that and not me.
Jody, if it was you, it'd be 10 lines.
A very long sentence.
Yeah.
With punctuation.
Yeah. With lots of colons and commas. So your value proposition will be concise when you figure out what the top values are. So maybe 1 or 2 values, maybe 3, that are included in the offering as the headlining values, the top things that make this worth buying. So let me just have a look here. Okay. So as an example, this in Taurus, I'm preparing to create a new offering, which was kind of a side offering to write people's copy for their websites. So this is a very general thing. There's plenty of people doing it. And how on earth are people going to know whether they want me as their copywriter? How are they going to know that? By the value proposition. By me communicating what the top 3 values are of this offering, why they would want to choose this offering. And then making sure I match it with those people, that I'm actually sharing it with the right people. I'm not just putting things out into the ether hoping the right people will just come along, but I'm actually targeting people. And it might even be through individual invitations. But again, that comes more so in Gemini. This month is actually about preparing the offer and getting a clear value proposition. So, okay, these are the 3 areas that I've teased out of Taurus. Now, you might find other areas to focus on that are to do with resources. That is completely fine. This is what you make it this month. But firstly, we now want to take a moment to tune into our cycle intention. So let's just take a moment to breathe. And as we breathe in, we're breathing in all that has passed in Aries. And we're breathing it out. Just allowing what has been to wash away. And feeling what's left. What's done is gone, and what is left from your Aries intention? What do you want to carry through into this cycle? What's coming next? What is going to help you to create a foundation for those seeds that you planted in Aries to take root? So an example of a cycle intention, which is mine for this month, is to prepare for an inflow of clients and a wider sharing of my work. I notice the key word, prepare. So I'm toiling the earth. I'm preparing the soil. Making sure that what starts to grow later in the month, later in the year, has a solid foundation. So this translates for me as getting operations really solid for the True Abundance Oasis community that's opening this month. So that's an organizational thing. That means things are ticking along, everything has a place. There's a solid foundation for that community to flourish. It involves refining my value proposition, our value proposition for the True Abundance Oasis, preparing teaching materials, and preparing the copywriting offer I mentioned before. So this is a preparatory month for me particularly. You might sense a different theme for this month around resources. Whatever your projects, your initiations, whatever they need to have roots this month. Jill, did you have a question?
I'm looking at my cycle intention that I set in the beginning of the calendar, and I'm seeing a pattern that my cycle intention is really exactly the same. It's just the intention, the anchoring of the energy. So I'm not actually rethinking each cycle intention. It's just changing the words that anchor the energy of the month.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's exactly what happens. So your 12 cycle intention is going to be expressed through different themes at a different stage of development throughout the year as your business grows. So this is the first earth theme, the first time you're putting roots down. So how does your 12 cycle intention get expressed or need to be expressed for this month? That's good reframe, Jill.
Yeah, I was just looking at yours and could see that it's very similar from the beginning, and I looked at mine and went, oh, it is each time.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what I mean by the thread continues throughout each month. You know, you're not signing something completely different each time. It's an ongoing theme.
Yeah.
So this comes back to Jodie's comment earlier about what happens when all the actions start to pile up. You know, things that you didn't complete from the previous month and what's being carried over to this month. So this is where you want to be making sure all of the actions you take this month are through the lens of your cycle intention. So Jodie, any actions that you didn't do last month, put them through the lens of this cycle intention and see if they're still relevant. They may have taken form. Some might even combine into one action. Usually there'll be some kind of difference. Does anyone have any? Oh, hello, Marika's here. Hello.
I made it.
You made it. Cool. Yeah, so is anyone wondering about their cycle intentional actions? Do you want to speak yours out loud to the group? Anyone got an example for us? Still mulling it over? Come on, it's very powerful if you speak it. If you've got it.
I'm trying to, and have had a lot of trouble grounding myself every 15 minutes. I've been working on that. But my focus, mine is the same. It's been the same for so long. I'm getting a bit tired of it. So I'm thinking, must try something else. But I basically still want to ground myself. A lot of the time I feel very grounded, most of the time, but something knocks me off my perch. And when I get knocked off, boy, I lose my focus, and I don't like that. It doesn't feel good at all, and I'm really working hard at that right now. I don't think I've ever really felt like that before, for forever, really. But it's getting seems to be getting worse.
So, Janet, are you saying that you're human?
It's funny because I'm reading a book at the moment called "You're Only Human," and it's by I am. But you must grab this book, because the book is it's by The Gecko. It's hilarious. It's
What's
really
The
fun. He's a writer.
Oh.
And yeah, it's really worth. You get a good laugh, but there's got lots of depth in it. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yes, I am reading that. Isn't that funny how that came
Because
up?
exactly what you said happens to me and most people I speak to every month. Things happen, we get knocked off track, or, things change. And that's why we do this planning process, to keep us on track, to have something to return to. It's not so that we stick to it 100% all the time and, it's that black and white. It's just about having something to return to. Okay, that's
Yes.
my focus. I'll get back to that now.
Yes, I think this is going to work for me. I really feel, out of everything I've done before, this really substantial, and so.
So do you have your Taurus cycle intention? Do you want to share it?
Well, yes. It's yes, my intention is to actually do one dance class, just one, that I'm happy with, and I'm not going overboard. I'm just one, and make it happen. I can see it all in my head. Everything is, and it's so simple, and I know that I have done it in the past, but for some reason I'm having trouble with this. And that's what my intention is this month, to have. Oh, this month it's nearly gone. Oh no, this Taurus.
Yeah.
Taurus. That's okay. So that gives me a bit more time to procrastinate. Oh,
okay.
Well. So that's it. Just one thing, and to stay grounded. And I'm working on staying grounded every 15 minutes. That's what I do. Then that does keep me on track. But I was feeling so good yesterday. I couldn't believe how good I was feeling. Happy and so great. Everything was just going so well. And someone wiped me up. I obviously did, but it was somebody came along and went, bang. That's and I'm thinking to myself, well, why is that happening? So I've spent all night thinking about that.
So maybe there's something in there to add to your cycle intention around staying grounded, because I do wonder if your intention to hold one dance class this month is actually an action, whereas your cycle intention is more general than that. It's actually around staying grounded. So maybe finding some words that feel resonant for you around really fleshing out that grounded intention that you have, and then the actions are really clear. They're tick and flick, done, dance class number 1, and whatever the actions are that you need to do in order for you to hold that dance class. So that's where the cycle intention is more of a sensory thing, where you feel it in your body. The actions come from the mind. So the one dance class from the mind, that's on the action list. You can easily tick that off. So maybe have a sit with that, see what comes around the grounded intention.
Thank you. I'm going to work on more detail. That's basically the important thing, I think, for me. That's what comes to me. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Does anyone else want to share their intention? Jill?
I actually don't want to share my intention, but probably a little bit of feedback from last month as well. Yesterday was quite bizarre. I was requested to do that online interview with the Canadian lady, and it's probably not a good thing to do in retrograde, an online interview. And for 45 minutes, we struggled with the technology. Now, we could have gone, nah, that's it. It's not meant to happen. We persevered and turned everything off, turned back on again. And in the past, we would have just let it ride. We'll do it another time. And we knew, both of us actually had said that if we don't do it now, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And it was just a matter of changing that belief system and go, just let's get it done. Let's find a way to make it happen. And it happened, you know, and that for me was a different perspective. That was a different way to actually achieve something, which I wouldn't have bothered with last time, you know. So just getting those intentions, those cycle intentions down on paper, and I went, this is part of making this process work. It doesn't matter if it's not working. You've got to find a way to actually make it work. And it felt damn good when it did. You know, and I could have walked away and go, shit, that was a terrible bloody process and it was so embarrassing and blah, 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 blah. You know, that all the story that goes with it. But we walked away and went, yep, worked and had a great day. So sometimes it's just, and it may help that it was Aries as well, that intent to just keep it happening. So I just wanted to share that because as I was listening to Janet going, you know, something came up and it smashed me, but, you know, it did smash us both. And we were doing it on the international stage and we were doing it live, which was even worse because everybody was waiting and waiting and waiting and it didn't happen. So, but they all came back later. So it's sometimes you just have to push through.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point actually, Jill, because this is something I've noticed with this particular 12-month cycle. When we started in Aries, a lot of the old approaches are not working anymore, especially in business. And we're having to change our perspective, our philosophy, our approach, you know, in very significant ways. So there's a huge up-leveling that's happening at the moment that's really begun the 12-month cycle. So I think we're going to see more and more of this where we're going to be having to explore alternatives, really push the boundaries of what the old us would have done and try something new, try a different approach. Don't get sucked into your old patterns and your ways of doing things. So I'm glad you highlighted that, Jill. Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. All right. Anyone else want to share before we move on to timing? All right. Okay. Step 3. Now this is where we get to the actual month and timing these actions. So first of all, on your planner, you want to cross off the days that are unavailable for business, that are either your off days, you're on holiday, your moon time days, whatever, your birthday, anything that is coming up. Yeah, we have one Taurian in the group, Jill's birthday this month. And so make sure they're clearly off the planner. So they're not days that you have available to you for any work. Then we want to look.
And Mother's Day.
Oh, and Mother's Day. Yeah. Cross off Mother's Day. That's in the Southern Hemisphere anyway. Okay, so step 4, full and new moons. So this is where we want to look at where the new moon is. So the new moon is in Taurus on Wednesday the 26th. That's coming up. And this crescendo that happens up to the full moon on the 10th. Wow, Jill, your birthday's on the 10th. Oh, so full moon in, drum roll, Scorpio. Look out.
Wow.
Oh, Scorpio moon, always so much fun.
I think I'll go into hiding.
Yeah. Yep. So we have a 2-week crescendo here from the new moon to the full moon. This is your window of opportunity to get the bulk of your actions for the month done. So this is the crux of the month where the action happens. And then the moon after the full moon starts to wane again, and we're preparing to go into the following cycle. So when you're planning your timing for these actions that you've written, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can actually put numbers on the days for each of the actions. That's what I do. So you might put a number 1 on the new moon for something that you're starting, because the new moon is when we want to be starting new projects. And the full moon is when things come to fruition. So does anyone have any questions around timing some of their actions this month?
Yeah, I do, but it's actually more about the full moon date.
Yeah.
I have it as the Thursday on my calendar. Not on the one that you've got it as the Wednesday, but in my diary with my moon app, it says for where I live, which obviously, I think we're all in Australia.
So this good
Thursday
point.
morning.
The planner, this planner that I use is based on universal time, which means it's Greenwich Mean Time at 0.
Okay.
So we're +10, I think, on the east coast of Australia. So the timing will be different. So obviously this planner is used worldwide, so I had to go with something universal. So you might find that you're, half a day out or whatever, but it's still really what's important is that 24-hour to 48-hour period around the full moon, not the actual, moment or the minute. So it really is kind of a window of 24 to 48 hours. And so you'll notice that with any of the other, like the retrogrades and things like that, everything's based on universal time.
Can I just say, Jodie, you look like a princess.
How appropriate.
I'll be the thing at the back.
My onesie.
Yeah.
I can't see your onesie.
Don't draw attention to the onesie, Jodie.
Oh, that's okay. You've got stars and moons on it. I've got the whole mystery theme going here. So
Oh, funny.
thanks, Jill.
All right, so we don't have any eclipses or retrogrades this month either. So yeah, we'll leave that intensity for later in the year. One Scorpio full moon's enough to deal with. So when you're planning out your, the full moon in Scorpio, that's an intense period, an emotionally intense time. So if you're launching anything on the full moon, be aware of that. Be aware of it in yourself and for the people that you're serving. Even if you're not launching anything in your clients as well, you may notice certain things coming up, because anything, what Scorpio will do is dredge up whatever dirt or shit or shadow needs to be seen and dealt with. So that's what the full moon in Scorpio will do. So if you are serving clients, you can really leverage that. Have some fun with it if that's the kind of work that you do, is transformational work. A lot can shift and change around that time that's been dead and buried for forever.
But the Mercury retrograde actually ends during this cycle.
Yes, that's right. So that's where the R finishes on the 3rd.
Okay.
Bonus.
Yeah, bonus. As I said last time, some people are really affected by the Mercury retrograde. Leonie happens to be affected in a positive way.
So it's always bumpy on the way out.
Yeah, bumpy on the way out, way in and way out. Yeah. So that's just something to keep in mind if that's relevant for you.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
Natalie?
Yes.
Natalie, can I just say, are you saying that if I am going to put on a class, I shouldn't put it on the 10th? Is that right?
Oh, I'm not saying any black and white things here. It totally depends on what you're launching, the kind of work that you're doing. With a dance class, it could be really good. Dance classes on a full moon are great.
Right, okay. I get
but
that.
If you're doing private one-to-one transformational work with people, that's a different approach. Yeah. And of course you can't necessarily time that around a moon, but you might want to if it's a workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. How's everyone feeling about their plan or the direction they're taking for this month? It doesn't matter if you don't have it all down at this point. I had a couple of blanks until this morning. So the most important thing is that you feel good about this, the direction that you're taking.
So that's what I would probably say.
Sorry, Leonie? Yeah?
I was going to say, that's probably what I would say. I feel like it's taken a bit of stress off, in the sense that I have a whole lot of planning I need to do to create some webinar stuff and some in-class stuff. And this has probably given me the I'm actually allowed to spend this time planning, putting in place the structure for what's going to come in a month or two's time.
Yes.
So that feels nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly good. What we're aiming for here is one theme at a time. And everything, everything layers throughout the year. So the preparatory work that you do this month pays off next month and so on. Yeah, great. That's what we want.
That's good.
Jody, did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought it was you. Someone else spoke up at the same time.
It was me, Natalie.
Oh, Marika, yes.
Hey.
Hey. Did you want to say something?
I don't know how relevant it is, but
say it anyway.
It was just an observation yesterday, because I found that it's like I had so many things that I know I want to do, but the timeline for them is so large, right? So I found myself kind of going in this place of feeling lost, because it's suddenly I've got all these things, but they've got quite a large timeline, and then being able to actually pull back and go. And that's what I'm getting also from doing this, is looking at, what is really important
you know, kind of listing everything and looking at, well, what is the most important thing now, and giving each one a timeline or a sense of intention with the timing.
Yes.
Because I think when there's so many different things, you know, just to get that order into each one.
Yes, absolutely. It's a really good point. This is what I found with having used a planner for a few years now, is that it continues to slow me down to earth time. You know, like, we can only accomplish so much at once, and there really is only one thing to focus on at a time. So business can be so heady and having so many things on our plate at a time, and this just helps us to sequence it. Yeah, so good point. Sequencing is key. Cool. All right. So if you do have a long timeline, as Marika does for some of her projects, what you can do is, I mean, I've printed out all 12 months of my calendar. So if I know something is coming up in a month down the track, I'll actually write it in the actions down there so it's not forgotten. So you can start to stage things and spread them out throughout the year by writing ahead of time. And then when you get to that month, it's already there. And it's a reminder. Yep. Jill?
I've laminated mine and writing them in and whiteboard marker.
Oh, cool. So you
So
can
if I
rub
need
it
to
off
adjust
and
it,
change it. That's great.
Just if I want to adjust the words and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've got a really flexible way of flowing throughout the month as things change. That's great.
Well, and plus, I don't like making a mess of my sheet because it's so pretty. And after using it for 2 years, I was finding I was wasting ink.
Yeah. That's right. Funny. Well, that's
I
good,
am
Jill.
not alone by the looks.
I'm glad you're preserving the artistry of the planner. It makes me feel good as well. I used those pens that you can actually rub out, the erasable pens, for a while. Anyway, cool idea. Okay, so that's pretty much all for today. If anyone wants my individual eyes on your business and your plan throughout the year and helping you track and grow your business, I do offer a private coaching program. It goes for the full 12 months. And we use the natural cycles as well as your creator type, which is how you create most naturally, to personalize your plan and then make sure that you're on track to executing it. So that level of support is available if you want that. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed today, I would love if you'd share this with people, because this is a movement. If you haven't noticed, this is about bringing nature to business. Natural timing in business is revolutionary because it's not at light speed. It's not about keeping up with the latest trends and moving at an inhuman pace. It's about breathing into now and tuning into exactly what the earth needs of you and what your soul needs of you to manifest in this moment. So just being receptive to nature and using that little tip that I shared at the start, having some offline time every week, can make a huge difference. And I'll be sharing another tip next month. So please share this around, and there will be a recording for you to share with people as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
So thank you, everyone.
Fantastic.
For
Thank
coming
you,
along.
Natalie.
It's much more fun when we do it together, right?
Yes. It's wonderful, actually. I'm going to share this with a business group of mine, and I'm sure they'll be able to use it because they think along these lines, and to have something, a tool like this, is just wonderful. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Nat.
Wonderful.
See you later.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Happy Taurus.
Yeah.